Hi, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our SBL webinar for September 2022 attempt. This is day number 2, and my name is Hasan Dossani. I hope you guys are keeping well. So yesterday was our first day of the webinar series, and yesterday we had a 4-hour webinar, and we focused on basically your stakeholder management and professional marks, formats. We did questions. So the handout I have already shared on all the WhatsApp group, yesterday's handout, and also the recording of yesterday's session is now available on YouTube. You can just search on YouTube and you will be able to locate it. Okay. So today let's start with day number 2. Let me share my screen. All right, guys, are you able to see my screen? I just need a confirmation. Very good. All right, so let's start with today's session. So again, a big welcome to our game-changing webinar series for SBL September 2022. This is Sir Hasan Dossani here. And what is our strategy? Our strategy was to, discuss certain topics, do some question practice. We talked about technical articles, exam techniques, professional skills, formats, and in the study plan for last 2 weeks. Before we proceed, the format of today's webinar is CBE approach. Okay, so we will be using the ACCA CBE platform to solve the questions. And obviously, today's webinar is not enough for self-study students. So if you want to have a comprehensive coverage for September attempt, you have to watch September 2021 webinar, December 2021 webinar, and March 2022 webinar, in addition to this particular webinar. Okay. How to ask question, really important. The way you can ask question is you can type your questions in the chat box, and after every slide or two, I will pause and I will take, go through all the questions. Please make sure that your questions is pertaining to the slide under discussion. Otherwise, I will not respond to it. Any open-ended questions, I will be most happy to take it towards the end. Okay. All right. A very brief introduction, but I already did that yesterday. The most important thing is my WhatsApp number, right? So for those students who are joining us today for the first time, please save my WhatsApp number so that you can stay in touch with me. Take a screenshot of this. All right. Also, I am managing a global SBL WhatsApp group, and there are hundreds of students who are benefiting from this free WhatsApp group. So if you are not a member of any of my global SBL groups, so please message on this number and request this person to send you the link, SBL link. Okay. Please take a screenshot. If you are already part of any of my WhatsApp group, SBL group, then no need. All the groups are active. But if you are not part of any group, then please message on this number. You want me to share the WhatsApp link? Okay, I will just share the WhatsApp link on here on the chat as well. That's a good idea. Let me copy the link, Control C, and chat. Okay. Here's the link which I am sharing of the WhatsApp group. Happy? So if someone asks for the link, so please, you can also copy paste this link on the chat box. All right. Okay. Now the most important thing. Today today's agenda is we are starting with exam techniques. So those of you who are giving SBL for the first time, it is absolutely critical that you understand the exam techniques really, really well. Because if you will not apply the exam techniques, you will score 45, 46, 44 marks. All right. So exam techniques is extremely important, especially for SBL. And please, if you had attended yesterday's session, SBL is extremely different from the rest of your papers, right? So the exam techniques for SBL is also quite different from all your other papers. So please pay a lot of attention. Do not try to use or enforce your existing exam techniques, which you had worked for your existing papers. For SBL, you need to learn some new techniques. All right. So are you guys ready for the exam techniques? It will be a 30-40 minute session on the exam techniques. All right. So, Bismillah. So the first thing first, when you open up your paper on the CBE platform, you see, the first thing you will do is you will copy paste all technical requirements on your Word tool in the CBE platform. That's very important. Okay. So that, so you will open up your Word document and then you will open task number 1, copy the technical requirement and paste it on your Word document. And then you go to task number 2, then you task number 3. So you have to copy all the requirements on one page. Why is that important? For 2 reasons. Number 1, your requirements are scattered. They are not in your CBE platform. The requirements are not on one page. They are all scattered. So there are like 3 or 4 or 5 annexures or screens for your requirement. So many students, they are not able to remember all the questions, all the requirements. Obviously, right? Even I can read all the requirements, but I can't remember all of them. So the best way is to make a list. So what we will do is we will open up the Word document and we will quickly copy paste only the technical requirements on that, so that all the requirements, is in front of us in one list. Okay, how that would help is that when we are reading all the exhibits, so you may want to look at the list of requirements because you might not remember what exact questions have been asked, right? This activity number 1, will take, I think, 2 to 3 minutes. How much? 2 to 3 minutes. Do you want me to show you how to do it? Do you want me to show how to do it? Or you have understood? Okay. All right. So let me open up my CBE platform. Let me just open up a random question. Okay, I'm just opening up a random question. So this is the first screen you will see when you open your paper. So I will open the word processor. Let me do. I will open the word processor. I will minimize the size. I will take it on one side. And then I will open task number 1. Okay, I will minimize the screen. I will take. So task number 1 has part A, and then if you scroll down, there is part B. So I will just So, to select a paragraph, just triple click, one, two, three, Control C, and here I will paste, enter, 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 and then I will scroll down. I will 1, 2, 3, Control C, and so this is 1A, this is 1B. I will close this exhibit. I will go to task number 2, 1, 2, 3, triple click, Control C, and okay, 2A, and then scroll down, Control C, 2B. I will close this, and then task number 3 is Control C, 3A, and 3B. Okay, done. So what I've done is I just copy pasted all the requirements on one sheet, and so that's one. So the first thing is you copy paste the requirements. I would generally like to put heading number 3 here so that the questions can, stand out, because when I will start copy pasting some other material on this template, um, so the question is difficult to search for the question. So I'm highlighting all the questions. I've given some space in between so that I can copy paste relevant stuff as and when I am reading. So this is all the requirements. Okay, so I will close it now. The second step is prepare skeleton of your answer. So this we had done yesterday, remember? So for example, if we are supposed to prepare a report, so you just prepare a report and give the headings, subheadings. All right. And then when you start reading the scenario, you start copy pasting relevant sentences from your exhibits under the respective questions. Very simple. So for example, question number 1, it says to prepare briefing notes for the finance director. So what is the format of a briefing note? I will just say briefing note to from subject, date, introduction, best regards to finance director. What is our role here? The role is always mentioned in the first exhibit towards the end. You are senior business analyst. I just copy pasted it. Senior business analyst. I will copy this even down here for the closure. And halas. So I will just format all this. I will make it heading 3. Introduction is heading 3, and these two are heading 3. My format, this one is heading 1, center, underline. Done. So my format is ready. Subject should be halas. You see? So when you copy paste the requirements, you can make your skeleton. This is what the skeleton is. Now, when I'm reading the scenario, I can start, copy pasting stuff here, give some headings, do some editing, and boom, answer is ready. Did you guys understand? Let me just go through your comments. Professional skills, no need to copy, because once we will start solving, we will again read the requirements. Okay. Yes, slide format will be on the presentations, will be on the slide format. No, please don't do scratch pad. Mr. Woody, please follow what I'm saying. I said word processor. I opened up my word processor and I did it on my word processor. Why the hell are you talking about scratch pad? Very bad. Can you just follow exactly what I'm doing? Otherwise, you are at risk. Don't use word scratch pad. Just directly on the answer sheet, because you are making the skeleton, you are preparing the answer. Okay. Um, can you use caps for skeleton? Yeah, that's fine. Petty issue. Should we start copy pasting when we read for the first time, or we should read? No, 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 no. You start copy pasting while you are reading. You don't have time to first read and then go back. So whatever you think is important, start dumping it. Later on, you can always delete it, right? I thought if you know you wrote the word introduction, it's fine, Elizabeth. It's up to you. Not a big deal. Ikra, if it's a presentation slide format, then you will use the slides format. Okay. Geoda, I don't know what you are saying. Please elaborate. Triple click works for exhibit 2. Yes, correct. But please don't copy paste entire exhibits. Okay. Skeleton in caps or not? Come on, man. Yes, it's okay. Petty issue. Umair, it's up to you. I mean, I just want to save time. All right. Yes, Geoda, you can unmute and ask, please.
So all the requirements, the 3 requirements were placed in one word processor.
Yeah.
I thought would have a word processor for each requirement.
No,
Okay.
It's not like that. There is only one word processor, and that is your one answer sheet. So all the answers are on one word processor. All right, guys, move on. So you understand the first technique. I'm closing this, moving back. So let's recap. Copy paste all the requirements, then you try to prepare the skeleton like formats, broad headings, and then when you start reading, you can copy paste relevant sentences under the respective question. The second important technique is time management. Very, very important. If you remember yesterday's lecture, one of the most common reasons why students they fail is they are not able to complete the paper. If you miss, if you attempt 80 marks, 85 marks, it is very, very difficult to pass if you attempt 80, 85 marks, because SBL by nature is a low scoring subject. So if you attempt 80 marks, it will be difficult to score 50, 55 marks. If you attempt 100 marks, it becomes easy to score 50, 55 marks. Okay. Time management. So now, the paper is 4 hours. The allowed total time is 4 hours. And the first 60 minutes, you can allocate for reading and planning. And the remaining 3 hours is for drafting. Now it's not hard and fast. You can start drafting from the first minute as well. It's all up to you. But generally, if the case is lengthy, maximum reading time is 60 minutes. Right? Stop reading as soon as 60 minutes are up and start drafting. This is a very important thing. So if the scenario is lengthy, it may take you 70 minutes or 75 minutes to read. But obviously, if you take more time in reading, then your drafting time will reduce, right? So do not do that mistake. Maximum reading time you should allow yourself is 60 minutes. Sometimes if the scenario is small, you may be able to read in 40 minutes, 45 minutes. That's fine. Once you have read it, you can start drafting. You can take a head start. But if the scenario is lengthy and if it's taking more time than 60, then you have to stop reading. That's a discipline which you need to follow. Now, if the scenario is lengthy and if the time is up, so obviously you will not be able to read all the exhibits towards the end, right? You will miss out reading one or two exhibits in the end because of lack of time. So how do we deal with that? So basically there are two types of exhibits. Okay. The two types of exhibits are basically, one is called 1:many exhibit and the other one is 1:1 exhibit. Can you guess what is the meaning of 1:1 exhibit? Let's try to guess. What do I mean by 1:1 exhibit? Yes, so 1:1 exhibit simply means that it is a very specific exhibit and it will be used in one question only, 1:1. So it is a restricted exhibit, meaning that it can only be utilized, the information in that exhibit only pertains to one particular question. And what is the meaning of 1:many exhibits? 1:many exhibits? The other way around, right? So 1:many exhibit is, it contains information which you are expected to use in multiple questions. You have to use that exhibit in 2 or more questions. That's why it's 1:many. So now I think that reading 1:many exhibit is more important as compared to reading 1:1 exhibit. Is that clear? So when you are reading the scenario, you should prioritize your exhibits. You should not read in sequential thing because the exhibits are all standalone. They are not linked with each other. So don't read in sequence like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. First, try to identify which one is 1:many. You read those first so that your multiple questions are covered. And then whatever reading time is left, then you can read the 1:many. In fact, many students, they don't even read the 1:1 exhibits. Why? Because they will just read it when they start the question, because it is so specific that there's no point in reading it early in the process, because obviously once you start that drafting, you will again need to read it, right? So many students, they just identify the 1:1, but they read it later when they're actually drafting the answer of that particular question. This is how you can utilize your first 60 minutes really productively by focusing more on 1:many exhibits. For 1:1, you just identify which ones are the 1:1, and then you can read them later on. In this way, you can get some head start. Let me take some questions. How now? The big question is how to identify which exhibits are 1:1 versus 1:many. No, Abdullah, no need to read, do work. There's no such thing as quick reading, okay? Quick reading is a waste of time because the moment you will read more, you will forget the previous one. So there's no point in quick reading. Yes, how to identify? I will just tell you how to identify. Right. So now how do we identify? So one is to many exhibits. So there are some typical exhibits which are mostly one is to many. So for example, board minutes. So if any exhibit is given to you, which is a board minute, extracts of board meeting or board minutes, most likely it will be one is too many. Meeting transcripts, annual report, extracts from websites. So these are some very standard, typical exhibits which contains a variety of information, and hence these exhibits are one is too many. Another way to identify is that the size of these exhibits will be more than one page. Because they are multiple, one is too many exhibit, they contain a variety of information. So generally these are larger exhibits, they are bigger. So they are like almost one page or 1.5 page or even 2 pages now. So from the size of the exhibit, you can also judge. If it's a long, big exhibit, it's one is too many. If it's a short exhibit, it's one is to one. Okay, phone or card. Now, one is to one exhibits, generally any financial exhibit, it's one is to one. Some newspaper articles, some weird specific topics, not any mainstream topic had the heading. These are generally one is to one. And another hint is that one is to one exhibits are generally the size is less than one page. Okay. So do you want to let's see. So let's open the same scenario. So the first exhibit is an overview. This you have to read because you need to know the background of the entity. Now, can you tell me report on performance, 30th June? Can you make a guess? Report on performance. It is a CEO's report on performance. Think. It's a CEO report. It says CEO's report on performance. Okay, if we are not sure, let's look at the size. Can we judge from the size? Let's open this exhibits. Can you tell me the number of pages? 3 page. It's also written here. Page number 1 of 3. It's a 3-page exhibit, chief executive statement. What do you think? Is it clear, right? One is to many. Very clear. Anything chief executive, annual report, performance reports. Okay, what about D-Land Hotel Industry Report? D-Land, very specific topic. Is it a board meeting minutes? Is it an annual report? No. Is it a website? No. D-Land Hotel Industry Report. I don't know. Let me open it up. Maybe from the size I can guess. Oh, shit, man. It is also how many pages? 3 pages. So I will assume it's a one is too many. Listen, it's okay. If we are not sure, then mark it as one is too many and read it. No problem. No big deal, right? Fact sheet for proposed acquisition. Again, a very specific case related name. Fact sheet for proposed acquisition. I think it's a financial and all these things. One is to one. It is relating to some proposed acquisition. Newspaper article. Generally articles again, one is to one, one is too many. I'm not too sure. You can read it. Senior management team briefing. Yeah, team briefing. These are minutes. You see, they are one is too many. Board meeting minutes. One is too many. I'm sure it's 3 pages. So in this particular scenario, almost all the exhibits are 1:many, almost all, because they are more than 2 pages. But please keep in mind that this particular question is the lengthiest question of SBL history. If you look at some other questions, you will clearly make out only 2 or 3 exhibits are 1:many, majority are 1:1. Yes, Chris.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Actually, I have a suggestion. Each professional mark, they mentioned that's where we supposed to pick the scenario. What I mean for the each for the scenario, all there is information about which one we pick for the each one. Is it possible we can use it that one instead of we?
No. For you can't, because number one, whenever the professional marks are there, they do not tell you which exhibit to pick up all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
They will only tell you for very specific exhibits. But for 1:many, you will not be able to figure out from that. So just try to guess from here. If you are not able to guess, then just treat it as 1:many. That's it.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Right, guys. So once we are done with the reading, okay, once we are done the 60 minutes of reading, yes, Nolu? Nolu, you need to then, if you can't understand, yes, Nolu, please unmute. Okay. So once you have read 60 minutes, then your drafting time is 3 hours. So you need to allocate 1.8 minutes per total mark. So if the question is 10 marks, how much time you're supposed to spend? 18 minutes on the drafting. Got it? We will follow 1.8 minute per mark for time allocation. Now, this one is very important, this one. Stop drafting and move to the next question as soon as drafting time is up for that particular question. Please, I will read again because it is the most important thing. Stop drafting and move to the next question as soon as your drafting time is up for that question. Now, if you remember yesterday, majority students, they fail SBL because they tend to overspend the time on one particular question. For whatever reason, students, they tend to overspend time on one particular question. Mostly it is question number 1, but it can be any question. The word overspend the time will kill you. The word overspend the time on one particular question will kill you. It's a suicidal mistake. You are not supposed to overspend time on any particular question, because the moment you overspend the time on one particular question, you just hijacked the time for other questions, and in the end it will all accumulate and you will not be able to complete the paper. Suicide, done, shot. If you feel that your time is getting overrun on one particular question, leave it incomplete. Leave it incomplete. Okay, no problem. Complete the rest of the paper. Move on. In the end, it is possible that you are left with 5-10 minutes. You can always come back and then finish it. It's a CBE paper. You can insert anything in between. It's very easy. But do not overspend time on one particular question. So you have to plan your time for that question so that you don't majorly miss out on things, but even if something last is required, if overrun the time, leave some space and move on. Doesn't matter. Time management is key to pass SPL. Yes, Nuha. Even if you are unable to give the required number of points, you have to move on. Overspending is a killer word. Overspending time on any particular question is a sin. You understand the meaning of sin? You can't do that. Even if your answer is incomplete, insufficient number of points, that doesn't matter. Time management is of paramount importance. In the end, listen to me. In the end, if you are left with certain time, you can always come back, right? Yes, Abdullah, you can unmute, please.
Yes, sir, how are you?
I'm good.
Sir, you said you have 6 minutes for reading the entire exam paper. What I am understanding is this 16 minutes during the entire time or as a start?
The first 60 minutes.
First 16 minutes.
Yeah. So the first 60 minutes you will read and plan.
So first thing, I just take copy paste from the old question and draft my report, if any, and then go to 60 minutes for reading.
No, first 60 minutes. It's all these things, making the list, doing some skeletons, it's all included in the first 60 minutes.
Okay. Got it.
First 60, that's it. After that, you start drafting your answer.
Drafting, it means that technical knowledge. Exercise my technical knowledge.
Yes,
Like
technical
question,
knowledge, yes.
like question with answer.
Yes, like
Okay.
yesterday.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Thank you for asking. Fatima is saying, sir, should we draft skeleton as and when we read each question? Good question, Fatima. I think skeleton can be drafted later on. What do you think? Because there are like 7 questions, and if you start drafting all the skeletons first, you might run out on the reading time, right? So maybe you can draft the skeletons later. First, you just do dumping, and then later on. What do you think? Or you can draft the skeleton for the first question, because the first question is generally more difficult, more important, carrying more marks. So maybe you can just draft the skeleton for the first question like I did. For the remaining questions, you can draft their skeleton as and when you attempt those questions. Okay. So guys, are we very clear on time management? Let me recap. First 60 minutes is reading, planning, all those things. The next 3 hours is for drafting. You have to, if you read all the 1:1 many exhibits in 40-45 minutes, you can start drafting, no problem. But if you are not able to complete your reading in 60 minutes, you will have to discontinue reading. Same for drafting, you will use 1.8 minutes per mark, and you are not allowed to overspend. You're not allowed to overspend time on any particular question. If it is incomplete, doesn't matter, leave some space, move on to the next question. In the end, you can always try and come back if you are left with certain time. Okay. Now, another important thing is number of points. How many number of points are we supposed to write? And so obviously it all depends on the mark. Yes, Gaurav, that's why you need some stamina. Number of points. So if you look at the question, if I'll just show you a question, let me change the question. I don't like this question. So let me select another question. So if you look at the tasks, All questions have two components. So there's a, yesterday I showed, right? There's a technical component, technical requirement, 10 marks, and then there's a professional skills, 3 marks. Total, so this is technical marks, this is professional marks, total mark is 30, all right? So you have to follow 2 marks per point. How can we decide number of points? Just assume that 1 point, a well-drafted paragraph carries 2 marks. Okay, so if it's a 10-mark question, you just divide by 2. So you just have to divide by 2 to arrive at what? Arrive at the number of points required. Is that clear? You have to divide by 2. Now, guys, tell me, a small quiz. If the total marks is 10, how many points are required? Total marks is 10. So you have to give exactly 5 points. It's not minimum, it's not maximum. Who is saying 5 to 6? Forget about 5 to 6, exactly 5 points. Nothing less, nothing more. Okay. Now, if the question is 15 marks, 15 marks, you divide by 2, it comes to 7.5. So 7 to 8, perfect. 7.5 means 7, minimum 7, maximum 8, 7 to 8 points, depending on the availability of information. Everybody clear on this? Very good. Ideally, when I say 1 point, I mean 1 point is 1 paragraph. And the size, you know, the paragraph generally is here, it's all mentioned here. 1 point should be 1 paragraph, and the ideal number of lines in 1 point or 1 paragraph is 3 to 5 lines. 3 to 5 lines. Umair, aren't you able to read? It's lines, not sentences. Excuse me. So if it's a 10 marks question, how many paragraphs should I expect to see? If it's a 10 marks question, how many paragraphs visually? If I count the paragraphs, the technical paragraphs, 5. Very good, very good. So 1 point is 1 para. Do not try to squeeze 2 points in 1 para. Do not try to put a lot of things in 1 para. Just mention 1 point in 1 para, next point in another para, next point in another para. The more paragraphs you will write, the more marks you will get. Okay. Don't try to put a lot of information in 1 para. You might lose marks. Now, there is a small exception. There's a small exception. So when you get a question which asks you to identify the weakness and give recommendations, for these type of questions, you will divide by 4. Do you understand? You will. Why do you divide by 4? Because there are 2 requirements. You are first supposed to identify the weakness and give suggestions or recommendations. So you divide by 4. I think yesterday's question was like that. We were supposed to assess the stakeholder and suggest how to manage them. So we divide by 4. Similarly, for questions on risk management, sometimes they will ask you to identify the risk and recommend risk mitigating options. So same, there are 2 things you have to identify or assess and recommend. Again, you will divide by 4. Is this rule clear? These 2? When you will divide by 2 and when you will divide by 4. Is this clear? Ying, forget about the suggested answers. Don't make it, let them confuse you. Are you clear where you are supposed to divide by 2 and where you are supposed to divide by 4? So whenever you see the word recommend or something like that, that means you have to give something extra, so that you divide by 4. Okay. Now, the last thing, in a finance related question, give 1 to 2 extra points to score high. So sometimes there is a very financial question, like a ratio analysis. Analyze the financial performance, or you are giving a financial projection. So you're supposed to analyze the financial projections and PVs and payback. So in all your paper, there is one question which is specifically relating to finance. So in a question which is specifically relating to finance, try to give 1 extra point or 2 extra point. Why? Because finance is supposed to be your strong area, right? Hopefully. So I would want you to give 1 extra point so that you can score 2 extra marks. Even if it takes a little bit, 2, 3, 4 extra minutes. If you're able to find some extra points, give 1, maximum 2 extra points, not more than that. But in a finance related topic where you are confident. Clear? Any questions on this slide? Let me go through my chat box. Minimum per point is 2, yeah. Minimum marks per point is 2. Why do you ask such questions when I spoke about it several times? Any question on this slide? Number of points. It's okay, Gio. We are clear on the number of points. All right, let's move on. Format of your answer. So how do we so some basic things which I'm sure you know, we have discussed most of these yesterday. Linking your answer with exhibit is a must. So yesterday when we were solving the question, you saw that I was actually copy pasting some information and then I elaborated on those information, the impact, blah, blah, blah. So that's what you need to do. All your drafting should be based on the information available on the exhibits. Adopt a paragraph style of writing. Avoid bullet style, okay? Just give small paragraphs. Third, leave 1 line between each para. So when you draft a para, so supposing it's a 10-mark question, how many para you're supposed to give? 5 paras. So just leave 1 extra line between the para, so that the examiner can visually count the paragraph. How can you leave 1 line between each para? Just press enter button 2 times. Okay, so it will really open up your answer and make it professionally presentable. That's it. High focus on format. So if any format is required, like a report or a briefing paper, make sure it's really sexy. Look for stress words in your exhibits. Stress words means very, significantly, extremely, notably. Any sentence which has these words: significant competition, extremely something, notably something. These are stress words. They are emphasizing on something. So make sure that you do copy paste this or use this information in your answer. Use tabular format for weakness and recommendation type questions. We did it yesterday, right? When you're supposed to, so whenever you divide by 4, use a tabular format. Huh? Was that too difficult? Whenever you have to divide by 4, use a tabular format, because whenever you divide by 4 to arrive at the number of points, that means there are 2 things. You can use a tabular format. Is that clear? All right. And using of models is not mandatory. So for God's sake, You can apply the model in your mind just to frame your thoughts, but do not try to use models unnecessarily. Okay, you might get stuck. Like students, they love to apply Porter Diamond model for some reason. Forget about Porter Diamond. Now, the most interesting slide. What to do if unable to find answer? You guys, do you think this will happen to you? Hmm? What is it? You guys think that this is a possibility? Yes, it's a very high possibility in SBL subject, especially in the last 3-4 attempts. I have been getting feedback that the examiner is not providing sufficient information. So it is a possibility. So what to do? First of all, when you read the requirement, you will know the topic. For example, the topic is wants you to talk about, assess the disruptive technologies affecting the automobile industry. So we know the topic is disruptive technologies. So first you can actually define what is disruptive technology. But please keep in mind that any definition general will not get you marks, but at least it will fill up some space. And then you can use search find option on your CB platform. So did you know that in your CB platform, there is a magnifying glass, which is a search or a find option. You click on that and you start typing the keywords. So you can type disruptive, you can type technology, you can write disruptive technology, any of the keywords which you think, and you search on the CBE platform. If any information is available on your paper, you will automatically, it will take you to that paragraph. Good, na? And then from there, you can copy paste some information. Then you can talk about you can elaborate that problem. You can talk about the root cause. You can talk about the impact. All these is just, filling it up. Main thing, look at this main thing. Let me shade it in another color. So any such question where you feel that there is no information and you have to do all these things like search and then define and just, bullshit, please push this question to the last. Do not try to do such questions in the middle, because once you start bullshitting and you start panicking, you will not realize and your time management will go out of control. Any question where you feel that you are really struggling, you're not able to find information, you can easily identify such questions, push it towards the end. Okay. And then when you are left with some time in the end, you can do all these fancy search things and bullshitting and this and that. But in the end, oh my God, you want me to show you how to search? Are you guys seriously giving a core professional strategic paper? You think you are, my God, aren't you good CFOs? Come on, guys. Are you kids or are you CFOs? Okay, so you click here. Why can't you check it yourself? Open this exhibit. Do you see this exhibit is there? Can you see this stupid magnifying glass? Please click on it. It will say, I type your word, differentiation, and see it's highlighted here. There is one word of differentiation. Let me write fitness. There are 7 words showing fitness. The first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. You see? but this search will only work on this particular exhibit. For example, if you want to search here, you on another exhibit, again, you will have to just search for fitness. So there are 10 words here, fitness. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. I'm very impressed with you guys. Control F works. Yeah, I think it works. All right, let's move on. Okay, so we are done with exam techniques. I will just quickly go back. So the first thing you do is when you start the paper, these are the things you're supposed to do. Then regarding time management, read the reading time, the drafting time, 1:1, 1:many exhibits, number of points. This is something which is important. Format of your answer, what to do if unable to find your answers. All right. Now I would like to move on to next topics. Any questions on exam techniques? And I tell you, it will only come from practice, guys. So my paid students, whoever are my paid students in tonight's session, we will be extensively applying all these techniques for next 3 weeks. Okay, and those of you who plan to join my revision class, you will also get exposure to all these techniques. It has to come from practice. But those students who are self-study, please guys, for all these exam techniques, you actually have to solve all the papers so that you understand what these are. You have to apply them to learn them. No Aman, no case study, and please do not ask irrelevant questions which are not part of the slide under discussion. Hold such questions towards the end. Rukaya, generally there is one question where students, they struggle to find information. Normally one question is always there where something is wrong. Okay, Mohammed, just message me 1-1, okay? All right, let's move on to technical articles. So you remember yesterday, we did one technical article. So basically, those of you who are joining today for the first time, so recently two articles have been published, just like a week or 10 days back. 2 articles for SBL has been published. The first one is responsible leadership, and the second one is environmental and sustainability issues. Before that, there were like 6 articles, so please ignore them. Okay, for this attempt, just focus on these 2 articles. Is that clear? So yesterday we discussed responsible leadership in great detail, right? Remember, guys? I hope you had enjoyed yesterday's discussion on responsible leadership. So just to recap, a responsible leader or a responsible organization, what are the attributes of a responsible leader? A responsible leader focuses on stakeholders and not just shareholders. Social responsibility and contribution, they focus on environmental sustainability, they focus on ethical and moral behaviors. All right. Now, today's article is an extension of environmental and sustainability issues, this one. So this attribute is covered in more detail in your second article, which I'm going to discuss right now. Environmental and sustainability issues. So we all know that a responsible organization not simply earns profits from its shareholders, but they also have a duty towards other stakeholders, such as social contributions and environmental That's the core. What is social contribution? When we talk about social impact, social footprint, social contribution, social includes three things: employees, customers slash suppliers, society, and community. Okay, those are the social aspects which organizations have to focus on. When we talk about employees, so their pay scales, their working conditions, their health and safety, training, diversity, discriminations, all these things. When we talk about customers and suppliers, so quality, honesty, transparency, data privacy, these are all aspects relating to customers and suppliers. And for society, job creation, CSR, financing uni students. These are all the social aspects: employees, customers, suppliers, and society. But when we talk about environmental sustainability, again, there are broadly, there are three areas of environmental, scope when in an organization. Responsible use of limited natural resources. That's one. That environmentally responsible organization, they will use natural resources very carefully. There are certain natural resources which are very limited, like oil, like trees. Okay, so so a responsible organization will not misuse or overuse natural resources. They will look for alternative energies like solar, like hydel, all those things, right? If they are using trees, then they will plant more trees so that, whatever trees they are using, that stock is replenished because, they plant more trees. So the first thing is responsible use of natural resources. That's the first attribute of an environmentally friendly or environmentally responsible organization. The second thing is waste products. Obviously, in a manufacturing concern, when you are manufacturing something, there will be wastages, right? There will be byproducts, wastages. So that's a big concern. How much is the wastage? That's the main thing. So a good company will always try to minimize the waste. And then what do we do with those waste? Is that, can we recycle it? Recycle means, can we use it? Then it's good. Recycling is very good because you are using and reusing things. And if you can't recycle it, then you have to dispose it. So you have to dispose the raw material. So how do you dispose it? You have to dispose it in a safe manner, in an environmental friendly manner. You just can't throw it in the river. Okay, so waste product is another area where environmentally responsible companies really focus. And the third one is all these pollutions that during the manufacturing process, all these machinery, noise pollution, gas pollution, air pollution, all these various pollutions, carbon emission. So these are various aspects of an environmentally friendly thing. So you remember, in my home country in Pakistan, uh, plastics are used. So when you do your shopping, when you buy groceries or you buy products from a shop, they will give it to you in a plastic bag. So now what's wrong with plastics? Plastics is not good because you can't dispose of plastics. The only way you can dispose plastic is you have to burn it. And when you burn plastic, it really, gives out dangerous gases, which, affects the ozone protection layer of Earth. So then in my country, they banned the use of plastics and they moved towards paper bags. Now, what's wrong with paper bags? Paper comes from trees. So when people started using paper bags, the consumption, the cutting of trees accelerated. What to do? So now, in one of the brands, they made a bag, a recyclable bag, which once you use it, you just put it in the ground, like bury it in the ground. It will mix with the soil. It will, I don't know what happened. It dissolves. In Dubai, if you want, there's no plastic bags. Now you can only have paper bags. Okay. But obviously paper bags is also not good. So in Dubai, they will charge you for a paper bag. So if you want one paper bag, it's 1 dirham. You want 2 paper bag, 2 dirham. You want 3 paper bag, 3 dirham. So you're charging money. So now I'm taking my own bag rather than buying paper bags. So all these things are, environmentally make the environment sustainable. Sustainable means long term. All right. Yeah, 0.25 fills. Yeah. Cloth bags. 50 rupees per bag. So all these are initiatives, to protect the environment. This is getting serious day by day. Now, I have a question. Be ready. What is the risk? So if anything goes wrong, so if your company does something wrong and causes damage to the environment, big time damage, what can go wrong then? What will be the consequences? Fine. Yes, regulatory fines, reputational, legal risk, very good. Bad publicity, bad media, penalties, you might lose license. Yes. What about any impact on customers? Will we lose customers if they find out that we are environmentally irresponsible? Yes. So maybe customers might move away from us. So we can lose customers, lose market share, business will be at risk. Yes. So if it's a very big thing which happened, the entire business is very good. Very good. So don't you think these are serious consequences? What do you think? These are serious consequences. Regulatory fines, penalties, reputational, loss of customer, business risk, financial risk, competitive disadvantage. These are serious risks, and they can be big enough. They may even lead to going concern if they are big enough. Right? So that is why in today's days and time, a lot of focus is being placed on being environmentally responsible companies, because media is very fast. Social media, press media, they will pick up any bad thing and they will screw you. So what are the risks relating to environmental sustainability issues? Number one, operational risks, like business disruption. So obviously, if something goes wrong, it might cause a temporary disruption to the business. Then there's a regulatory risks like legal fine and penalties. Then there's a reputational risk like bad publicity. There could be business risk like loss of customer, loss of market share, loss of competitive advantage, loss of revenues. And ultimately, all this will result in a financial risk, financial losses, a great hit to your P&L, even your balance sheet might shake a little bit. I think from an exam point of view, a question might come from this angle. That what are the possible risks around environmental issues? So you please remember this list. This list has been given in your article. Okay. Any questions on the risks, things which may go wrong? I think it's very simple. Just you gave all the right answers, but it is just the names of these risks which you have to memorize. Yes, Nuha, correct. Business risk and operational risk are same. No, Prabhi. Business risk is the entire business is at risk, going concern. And operational risk is some day-to-day disruption, like sometime the internet is down, sometime the software is down, 1 day, 2 day. Okay. Business disruption, Siri, what are you saying? Business disruption means that your business is stopped for 1 day, 2 day because of some problem. Your machinery is down or something like that. So your business has been disturbed. The flow has stopped. All right, then in the same article, examples have been given. So in your article, they have talked about fashion industry, fast fashion organizations. So I just thought I'll discuss this example that, there in fashion industry, there are certain organizations who just focus on short-term clothing. What do you mean by short-term clothing? Short-term clothing means that they are, just applicable for one season or one occasion, and after that you throw them away. So those organizations who are just looking at short-term fashion clothing, they are called fast fashion organizations. Their clothes only last for one season or one occasion. So these type of firms are now being criticized. Why? Because they are not environmentally friendly. I mean, clothes are then thrown away after 6 months, 3 months. Why? Because they're out of fashion. So ethically, environmentally, it's wrong, right? That you are making so many clothes, wearing it for such a small time, and then discarding it. So it's waste of energy, waste of raw material, all those things just to make more money. So this is something. So now these organizations, they're trying to recycle their clothes, or they're trying to sell it in the second-hand market, or they're trying to use it in some other things like, cushions or something like that. Similarly, for motor industry, as you all know, that motor industry are very prone to emissions, carbon emission. Motor, all these cars is a big problem, carbon emission. So they are now under big scrutiny that they are causing a lot of carbon emissions, and there is a pressure to shift towards hybrid cars or electric cars, all these things. So all these new fancy things, they are people are now becoming conscious about environmental friendly products, environmentally friendly organizations. That's the whole part. The big picture is customers are becoming more and more conscious day by day. They want to use environmental friendly products. They want to use environmental friendly organizations. Any organization which is ignoring environmental things, people are slowly moving away from them. They are losing revenues and business. Okay. Like Tesla, very good. All right. So now, communicating environmental initiatives. So if an organization is involved in environmental activities, how can it communicate? How can it show to the others? Any idea? So integrated reporting is a key tool in communicating organizations' environmental initiative to key stakeholders. So, integrated report is a report which really talks about social activities of an organization. It highlights the environmental initiative of an organization. So integrated reporting is the main document or a main tool through which any organization can demonstrate or communicate all its environmental initiatives and social initiatives. Okay. So CSR report as well. Yeah. So I will talk about integrated report in a little bit. The last thing is impact of environmental initiatives on industries. So do you know Porter 5 forces model, right? Porter 5 force model analyzes the industry. So there are 5 forces: bargaining power of customer, bargaining power of supplier, threat of new entrants, competition, and threat of substitute product. So supposing, let's take an example of car industry. So 90%, 95% cars are the traditional cars, right? They are the carbon emission cars. And now there are some electric or hybrid cars like Tesla and some other models, right? Those are very less, like 5% of the market. So now these environmental friendly cars or environmental friendly products, how are they affecting the industry? So in power of customer, the power of customer is increased. Why? Because now customers have more choices. So these smaller companies are opening, who are selling more environmental friendly products. So Tesla is very small and it only has electric cars. So now customers have more choices. So if they can go for electric cars, hybrid cars. So all these environmental companies are giving more options. So the moment customer has more options, customers' bargaining power increases. You understand? So yes, they have more choices. They have more choice to select between environmental friendly products and non-environmental friendly products, right? Power of supplier, there is no much impact. Threat of new entrants. Threat of new entrants has also increased because smaller companies can now enter the market to sell environmental friendly products. So, these companies who are selling environmental friendly products, they are easily able to enter the market because, they are selling a very unique product. So threat of new entrants have gone up because customers are demanding environmental friendly products, and these smaller companies can easily, enter the market and start selling environmental friendly products. A small shop, a small company on the side, and suddenly it will grow very fast. Competition, again, obviously, competition has increased because these environmental friendly companies are coming in. So competition is increasing. Threat of substitute products is increased, obviously, because now there are a lot of substitute alternatives are available, environmental friendly options are available. So you understand? So everything has increased. Bargaining power of customer is increasing because they have more choices. Threat of new entrants are increasing because smaller companies are easily able to enter the market selling environmental friendly products. Competition is increasing because there are more companies entering the market. New and alternate innovative products are coming in. So the threat of new alternate products is also high, which means barriers are low. Absolutely correct. Yes. All right, guys. So from an exam point of view, I might expect something on this one or something on this one. So the question might ask you identify the risk relating to environmental issues, or they might combine Porter 5 forces and they might ask, what's the impact on Porter 5 forces if environmental friendly companies are entering the market. So just remember this. So I've just tried to make the technical article simple, layman so that you understand from an exam point of view. Please do not try to read the article because you might get confused. You don't have that maturity to understand all those things. This is a very summarized, easy layman language which you can easily understand and you can apply in your exams. All right. Yes, I will share I will share this handout tonight or tomorrow first thing. Don't worry. Okay. Any questions on the technical articles? There were two articles: responsible leadership, which we talked about yesterday, and another second article was environmental sustainability issues, which we talked today. They are kind of linked. Any questions on articles? All right. Power of supplier, you can write anything depending on the scenario. It might be high, it might be low. All right. So now, because the article mentioned integrated reporting, and I just thought I will touch upon this topic so that it can be it's not difficult, but it is a slippery topic. It's difficult to understand. So I just thought I will explain it in very layman terms. Right. So we accountants, we are all accountants. So we are used to something called financial reporting. So what is the document which we send to shareholders? Annual accounts, right? So every year, after the audit, we share the annual accounts of the company with the shareholders. That accounts financial statements or annual reports. Correct. That annual report, it contains all the financial position of the company, balance sheet, P&L, blah, 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 blah. Right. So we accountants are used to something called financial reports or financial reporting. That's the conventional or the traditional thing. Agreed? But then, can you guys think of, let me hide this. Can you guys think of any drawbacks or limitation of financial statement? There are certain drawbacks of financial. It's historic. Very good. It is historic. So it's not bad, but historic means that what's done is done. It's not futuristic. It just talks about past. Number one. Number two, it is mostly financials. So 90% of the annual report is very financial focused, IFRS, blah, blah, blah. Even I don't understand such technical things, right? It's more financials. So it doesn't talk about, it focuses less on non-financial or business aspects. It is not futuristic. It is only financials. It just focuses on shareholders. Yeah, very good. It focuses on shareholders. It is a report specifically addressed to the shareholders. So it kinds of ignores other key stakeholders. And then it does not focus on social and environmental aspects. It does not include a lot of that, right? And it does not talk about business strategies and future plans and this and that. It's a very limited, restricted document. It's a financial statement. But if you are a potential investor, if you are deciding to invest in a particular company, obviously financial or historic information is helpful. But then don't you think you would also like to know their future plans and future projections? Obviously. So because of the limitations of financial reports, another kind of reporting was developed I think 10 years back, 10, 15 years back. It's called integrated reporting. Okay. Integrated reporting is a report which tries to cover all the drawbacks we discussed in financials. So integrated reporting is just not only financials. It will include financials, basic, simple financials, but then it will also include non-financial information about the business. Integrated reporting will also include futuristic plans and strategies. It will also include focus on social and environmental initiatives. It tries to cover a lot of stakeholders in mind. It keeps on several stakeholders in mind and not just shareholders. And then it talks about 6 capitals. In a financial statement, you will just see one share capital, right? But in an integrated reporting, there is a concept of 6 capitals. So let's look at the difference between financial statements and integrated report. It focuses on financial information, and IR focuses on overall business performance. It focuses on historic performance. IR focuses on future strategies. It focuses on share capital. IR focuses on 6 capitals, and I will talk about it. It less emphasis on social and environmental aspects. It integrates social and environmental aspects. Short-term, annual, and this IR always talks about long-term value creations. You understand the differences, and this difference is basically the advantages of IR as well. It's the definition of IR as well. So what are those 6 capitals? The first one is financial capital. So, obviously in an IR, there will be some basic financial information provided. P&L or balance sheet and future sources of funds, how the company is performing financially, some ratios, whatever, basic. Then it talks about manufacturing capital. Manufacturing capital basically means it talks about tangible assets. It breaks it into non-current assets like plant and machinery and current assets like inventories and working capital. Okay. Then it talks about intellectual capital, which is intangible assets of the company, like research, development, and innovation, brands, patents, my skilled staff, scientists, all those intellectual capital. So are you clear on these 3 capital? They're just focusing on financial capital, manufacturing capital, intellectual capital, human capital. Human capital talks about employees. So my employees are my asset, right? They are my capital. I use them for generating profits. So employee is under human capital, their knowledge, skills, productivity, efficiency, turnover, anything to do with employees will come under human capital. Social capital talks about customers, suppliers, society, government, all these things. And natural capital talks about environmental matters. Carbon emission, recycling, disposal of waste products, scarce, all those things we discussed before. Environmental, social, human, intellectual, manufacturing, and financial. So all these things are discussed in IR. What's the advantages of integrated reporting? Why should organizations, why should they adopt IR? There must be some advantage. Yeah. First of all, it is a voluntary disclosure. IR is not a mandatory thing. So it's a voluntary disclosure. So, if organizations have adopted IR, it enhances organizations' image and reputation for transparency. It gives a good image about the organization, that it is not a mandatory document, but still they are publishing all this information. That means they are open, they are transparent, they want to communicate with all the stakeholders, right? And then it is a very effective communication with all stakeholders. So financial statement is effective communication with shareholders, but IR is an effective communication tool with all your key stakeholders. And then it focuses on social and environmental initiatives. That's a very big component in IR report. What social impact the activities or initiatives the organization is taking, what environmental initiatives they are taking. Focuses on 6 capital of the organization. So it also talks about financial capital, manufacturing capital, intellectual capital, human capital, social capital, natural capital. And then because of all these information is available, it gives a better understanding to the shareholders, the stakeholders, and potential investors. And then because of this, it attracts investment at a lower cost because of the availability of greater information. So investors, then they know that this company is transparent. They are focusing more on social, environmental. They are very ethical. It reduces our cost of capital. And ultimately, it will give you competitive edge over other companies. You will have to memorize this list of advantages. Okay. But there are certain limitations. Sometimes too much commercial information or strategy is disclosed, which is not good from a commercial point of view. Yeah. So organizations, that is why it's not a mandatory report. And then the valuation of the 6 capital is quite subjective. So how do you value or put a monetary value to the 6 capitals? For example, what is the value of your environmental capital? What is the value of your human capital? It's all subjective, right? So there is a lot of subjectivity around this report, but at least it talks about qualitative aspects, responsible leadership, remember? Social, environmental, ethical, all those aspects are covered in integrated reporting. Okay. Difficulty in auditing, absolutely correct, Prince, that it's very difficult to have audit integrated reports because the auditor will not be able to verify the subjective values and things like that. All right. So last thing, you want a break? No? Okay. So one thing about integrated report is there is no hard and fast format. It is very flexible. It gives flexibility to the organizations. It's up to the organizations what they want to disclose, what they don't want to disclose. It's very open document. Okay. All right. Now, have you guys ever seen an integrated report, a real life integrated report? Have you ever seen an integrated report? Oh, some people have seen. So do you know ACCA publishes its IR? Yes. So for last, I think 7 or 8 years, ACCA is already publishing its integrated report. There are other many responsible organizations who are publishing integrated reports. I can remember Shell, DHL, maybe Amazon, All these big responsible companies, they also publish, they do publish financials, that's a separate thing, but they also publish integrated reports, which talks more about qualitative aspects, environmental, social, data. Okay. KPMG also publish IR. Very good. So I'll just show you the ACCA's latest integrated report. Where is it? Is it latest? So I think it's in the download thing. Download. So the latest ACCA report, integrated report, is basically for this year 2022. It was published year ended 31st March. So it's just like 3 months old. So what are the contents? I'll just quickly go through it. About ACCA, about this report. Okay, our highlights. Wait. Sorry, guys. President message, strategic report, strategy, future strategies and targets. Our value creation, how are they creating value in the long run, the global context, strategic performance, stakeholder engagement and materiality. You see stakeholders engagement, our risks and their management, governance, leadership and people, social is there, looking forward. So these are some basic contents. As I said, there is no hard and fast format. So something about ACCA, blah, blah, blah. This is our 11th annual integrated report. Very interesting. 11th integrated report. Okay. And what's there? Some we grew drivers, we enjoy members growth. All this, some basic information is there. Community, global achievement, regional achievement. Who is this lady? Orla Collins. Oh, she's the president. She's beautiful. Wow. Nice. So they have a lady president, eh? Lady, female, gender. Gender thing is there. Uh-huh. Now, who's this? Another beautiful lady. Oh, Helen Brand. She is gorgeous. Who's she? Chief Executive. Interesting. So, both the key positions are females, eh? Interesting. Gender. And then all these nice things, what they have done in the past, what they plan to do, what is their purpose, values, vision, too much fancy thing. Who's this? I don't know. Rwanda, IBM, so all these stakeholder thing, what they are doing, very futurist. Where is their future plans? Let's our strategic focus. I'm looking at their future plans. Some KPIs, some numbers, 5-year performance, graphs, revenue. You see the oh my God, look at the revenue. It's going up. Why was it down in 2021? Why was the revenue down in 2021? Quick, guys. COVID, yes. Okay. Some more beautiful people. Stakeholder management. So who are their stakeholders? The question we did yesterday, members, future members or students, employers, educators, governments and regulators, international organizations, employees, public, suppliers, you see, internal, external. So this is a time consuming thing. So we'll have to just, the whole thing is, I just wanted to show you, that's it, that integrated report. How do you close it? Wait. Is basically, you see, it is a very open-ended document which talks more about qualitative aspects, futuristic aspects, focuses on a lot of stakeholders, social initiatives, environmental initiatives, all those things. Right. So with this, guys, I think Fatima, I have no idea. So let's take a break. The theory is over, so I would like to do few questions. Maybe one question on IR and something else. And so yeah. So let's take a break and it is 9:50 to 10:20 p.m. Okay, 30 minutes break. I'll just grab some dinner and then we will start with practice today. All right, guys. See you in a bit. All right, guys. Can we start? Are you guys back? Can we start? Very good. Thank you for being there on time. So now I wanted to do a couple of questions. So our first question is on the topic of integrated reporting and 6 capitals. And we will be doing SBL specimen paper 1 called DCS, question number 1A2. Okay, it's available on your CBE platform. So just open specimen exam number 2. No, I think it's supposed to be specimen exam number 1, exhibit 3. So please open up your CBE platform and specimen exam number 1. All right, ready? This question is called DCS. And we will be doing 1A2. So let's read the requirement. 1A2, this one. Draft a section of the consultancy report for the directors to include the following. 1, leave it. 2, an evaluation of the overall performance of DCS company between 2012 and 2015 from an integrated reporting perspective. 12 marks. And professional skills marks are available for demonstrating evaluation skills relating to DC's company's environment and performance. Environment, I think, was part A and B. So I think these professional marks needs to be split equally between these two parts. You can also judge from the indenting. So this one is 12 plus 2 marks from professional, total 14 marks. So for 14 marks, how many points are we supposed to give? 7 points. Very good. How can we score evaluation skills under this? How can we score evaluate by making sure that we are covering both pros and cons? Very good. Do they have to be in equal quantity? Very good. So it all depends on the availability of information. Okay, so let's read again. Evaluation of the overall performance of DCS company between dash 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 from an IR perspective. Okay, so can we open up this one, Exhibit 4, extracts integrated reporting data. So if you see, this exhibit is in Excel, but it doesn't matter to me. So this is an extract of the integrated reporting data from the finance director Tosh Mondal. Financial performance, all figures in dollar million. Financial period is X5, X4, X3, X2. So last 4 years data has been given. Sales revenue, cost of sales, then gross profit. Then overhead expenses, profit before taxes, then finance cost, tax expense, and profit for the year. I think for me as a CFO, this bottom line is very important, and the top line. What is other data given? Number of employees, staff turnover percentage, number of orders delivered late, forward contract order book, number of orders, customer complaints as a percentage of total order and existing contract, employee satisfaction survey, investment in non-current manufacturing equipment as a percentage of sales revenue, R&D expenditure as a percentage of sales revenue, carbon emission in kg per 1,000 sales revenue. What was the requirement? Evaluation of the performance of DCS from IR perspective. Any idea, guys, what needs to be done here? When we say evaluate from IR perspective, and this is the data given, what can we do? 6 capitals. Very good. Pros and cons using 6 capitals. Okay. All right, good. Absolutely correct. So 6 capitals. Let me open up the word processor. Let me delete all this. So I'm not going into the format right now because I showed you how to do the format. So what are the 6 capitals? There is a financial capital. What else? Manufacturing capital. intellectual capital, um, mm, 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 human capital, social capital, natural capital. Let me just beautify a bit. Heading number 3 is the best to use to identify your broad headings. Done. So, can anybody tell me under financial capital, what are we supposed to do? Financial capital, what are we supposed? We look at not okay revenue, financial performance. Very good, Noha. So we look at the balance sheet and the P&L. Financial ratios, the usual financial ratios, the balance sheet, the P&L. All right, so we have been given this data. So which one? So this is the financial performance. Which one would you like to talk about? Very good. Always we will start with sales. A CFO always starts with the top line sales. Then we can talk about gross profit margin. Then we can talk about the final profit for the year. I think these three should be enough. What are those? So you will do like sales. Is it sales? Is it called sales? Is it called sales revenue? Okay, so always try to stick with the terminologies used in the sales revenues. Then gross profit margin and profit for the year. Okay, so what's happening with sales? Sales is, it was, if you look at the historic trend, 4.75, it grew very nicely to 6.8 million. Again, it grew to 7.4 and now it's 6.95. So I think it's increasing, but slowly it was now decreasing. What do you think? It's decreasing now. Yes. So sales revenue for the current year is it lower than last year? Absolutely, yes. So you can start by saying that sales revenue was growing during last 3 years. What do you think? Just wait, guys.
Sir, you are on mute. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry. Thank you. So sales revenue was increasing in last 3 years. Is this good or bad? That's positive news, yes. But however, in 20x5, the revenue decreased for the first time. Is that okay? Is that a factually simple and correct sentence for the board? Okay. Now, what can be the reason? So I'm sure somewhere in the scenario, some reasons will be mentioned. Since we have not read all the exhibits, but I think what I recall is there are two reasons. Number one, the economy, there's an economic recession, plus the product is now getting mature as well, something like that. So this is this fall is due to economic recession in the country, as well as the fact that our data component, I think that's what the name, the product is now becoming mature. Class. I might be wrong because I'm just trying to recall this scenario, but whatever is the reason, I'm sure you will be able to find out when you're reading various backgrounds and exhibits. So just remember that you have to give the reasons. Whatever is the reason, you will find it in the exhibit. Okay, what's happening with gross profit? This is the tricky one. So gross profit is 2.1, 2.5, 2.5, 1.98. I think it's following the sales pattern. No, I don't think so. So to analyze gross profit, you will need to calculate the gross profit margin. Can you please calculate the gross profit margin of last year versus this year? Let me calculate. I don't know. It cannot work there. So can you please do 2.55 divided by 7.4? How much is that? 2.55 divided by 7.4? 35%. Okay. And what about current year? Current year, 28%. You see, the gross profit margin has reduced from 35% last year to 28%. Don't say last year, to 0x4 to 28% to 0x5. This is x4. Is this good or bad? Your gross profit margin percentage is decreasing. Is this good or bad? Of course it's bad. So why is it decreasing? What's happening? Is it because of cost of sales? Probably the cost of sales is not reducing in proportion to the fall in revenues. Yes. So let's explain this to the directors. Very simple. This is because what is the word used there? Cost of sales. Okay. Cost of sales is not reducing in line with the fall in revenues. This reason needs to be investigated. I don't know if any reason is mentioned in this scenario. You can then mention why the cost of sales are not going down. And if no reason is mentioned, then you can safely write that this reason needs to be investigated. Simple 2 line is enough. Siri, it's very subjective. You can do from first year versus this year, or you can do from last year. Up to you. All right, what's happening with the profit for the year? Profit for the, oh my God, it has gone down substantially. Shit. Why? I think one reason is a fall in gross profit, but then there's expenses. Expenses, I think, have gone down, so it looks okay. And what is this? Oh my God, finance cost has doubled. So that has eaten away the profits, eh? Finance cost, yeah. Where is, can you simply explain this to the board? The profit, is it, what is the word used? The profit for the year. The profit for the year has significantly fallen over last 4 years, correct? Main reason for lower profits in 20x5 is partially due to fall in gross profit as well as increase or drastic increase in finance. Why do you think finance cost has increased? What is the most logical reason of finance cost going up? What is the most logical reason which can explain? Maybe we've taken a long increase in borrowings, yeah, debts. Drastic increase in finance cost due to higher borrowings or whatever you like to say. I'm just guessing. So this is the way you will draft your small, factual, and if you can find the reasons from the exhibit, simple reasons. No lengthy stories. No complicated thing, those which directors don't understand. Now, manufacturing capital. Manufacturing capital includes two things, non-current assets and current assets. Okay. Non-current assets and current assets. So is there any data about where can we find? Okay, let's yeah, you have to explain the reasons definitely, but it doesn't matter analysis skills or not. In this case, you have been asked to show evaluation skills. So is there any data about non-current assets? Yeah, this one. Investment in non-current manufacturing equipment as a percentage of sales revenue. Ouch, it's going down. So is that okay? Investment in non-current manufacturing equipment as a percentage of sales revenue is constantly reducing since last 4 years. What does it mean that these guys are not really investing in their non-current assets? They're not investing in their plant and machinery and all those things. Is that good or bad? It's bad, right? Why is it bad? If the company is not maintaining or upgrading or investing in their fixed assets, machinery, why is it bad? Sarah, please don't talk like accountants. Don't talk to me about depreciations. Lack of efficiency, low production, your machines will start getting old, your capacity, your future growth, high maintenance. Very good. Obsolete and this and very good. But look at this one. This shows that the manufacturing capital is depleting. This is an important word. Huh? We will say increasing or depleting. These are the standard terminologies. Depleting. What's the impact? Non-investment in NCA, non-current asset, in manufacturing equipment, non-current manufacturing equipment may lead to obsolete equipment, lower efficiency, and higher maintenance cost. That's it. The impact. Done. Any questions? Somebody asked a very interesting question. Let me go back. Aman has asked, will we consider the financial capital topic as 1 point or 3 points? You tell me, Aman. How many paragraphs you see, Aman? Under financial capital, how many paragraphs I have written? 3. So 3 points. It will be considered as 3 points. Okay, it's all about paragraphs. Yes, Christy, you're absolutely correct. Intellectual capital. Do you see any information about intellectual capital? Intellectual capital includes forward contract, customer complaint, satisfaction. R&D. Yeah, intellectual is more about R&D. R&D expenditure as a percentage of sales. I'll just copy it. It says, what's happening? 6553. Whoa. Okay. Now, what's the impact? Is this good or bad? So these guys are not investing in research and development. Their spending on research and development is reducing. So what's the future impact on the business if they don't spend on research? They cannot come up with competition, no innovation. Technology with their product will become obsolete. Very good. There is no innovation, their product will become obsolete and they will become redundant. Lack of innovation, yes, correct. Why loss of, what is the logic behind loss of competitive advantage? Olu, explain to me. When you're saying loss of comp edge, how? Kobu, what are you saying? Don't use sexy, fancy words. So please explain the root cause. So when there is no R&D, there is no innovation. I want to see this word, no innovation. And because there is no innovation, your product will get obsolete. I want to see this word obsolete. And because your product will get obsolete, you will start losing to competitors. This is how you explain step by step root cause. Just saying we will lose competitive edge is not enough. Okay, got it, guys? Is that okay? You have to explain very, very methodologically, step by step to the directors. Don't jump to conclusions. Okay, step by step. Human capital. Number of employees is going down. Okay, that's I need to check. Is that good or bad? Staff turnover has significantly gone up. So staff turnover has gone up. Is that good or bad? Staff turnover is bad. Huh? That means that the staff is not happy. That is why they are leaving the job. And what about employee satisfaction survey? Oh my God, employee satisfaction survey is deteriorating, right? Alhamdulillah, excuse me. So this means that the employees are not satisfied, and that is why that is the reason why staff turnover has gone up, because employees are not satisfied. I don't know why. That needs to be investigated, why the employees are not satisfied, why they are leaving. Is that good or bad? Absolutely bad. When there's high turnover, when the employees are not satisfied, it affects the motivation, it affects the productivity. Very good. So I'm not drafting now. Is that okay? Now you understand how to do it, right? All right. Tell me about social capital. Yes, Ihram, good. Social capital. Where is the data about social capital? Social capital talks about customers, suppliers, society. Anything about customers? Here. Customer complaints as a percentage of total orders. Customer complaints. Oh my God, 1.5, 2, 2.4, 3.4. Customer complaints is increasing like crazy. It has doubled in 4 years. Shit, man. So social capital is depleting. So what's the impact? What happens when customer complaints is increasing? Is that good or bad? Explain to me. If customer complaint is increasing, what's the impact on the business? Step by step. Step by step. What is the first thing a customer will do when he is not satisfied? We will lose customers. We will lose customers, right? And the customer complaints are increasing, and if you don't address them, we will start losing customers. They will switch to competitors. And if we lose customers, we will lose the revenue and market share. This is how you explain step by step. An increase in customer complaints may lead to losing of customers, and hence reduction in revenue. Please draft this on the chat box. Please type your answer on the chat box. What is the impact of increase in customer complaints? I want to see your drafting. Please type on the chat box. Very good, Zahur. I really like it. Yusuf, I will shoot you. Draft properly. Good, Nolu. Very good. Great improvement. Good, Duncan. I cannot take everybody's name. Very bad Olufunke, bad drafting. Bad J Manjana, incomplete, bad drafting. Good Sheikh Sove, good drafting. So you see, this is the difference between good drafting and bad drafting. A good draft will explain everything to the board of directors. That increase in customer complaints will lead to the fact that we will lose customers as they will move to competitors, and hence our revenue and market share will reduce. Bad drafting is increase in customer complaints will lead to fall in revenue, full stop. You will not get marks. Yes, Duncan, you are right. I mean, order decrease is also there. So I'm trying to explain to you the quality of drafting. The more you explain step by step, the more marks you will get. If you do a shortcut answer, this will lead to fall in revenue. You will not get marks. How fall in revenue? What's the link between customer complaints and revenue? Explain. Okay, guys, enough. Now, what is next? Social capital, natural capital. What's happening with natural capital? Carbon emission is increasing. Carbon emission is increasing. Is that good or bad from an environmental point of view? Bad. Why is it bad? How will it affect my business negatively? Now, please explain to me. Natural capital is depleting. And what's the impact? If their carbon emission is increasing, why is this bad for us? It will affect the environment. So what? Why is it bad for us? It's bad for the environment. I'm asking, why is it bad for us? Regulatory, okay. Reputational risk, okay. We will have a negative appearance in front of society. Very good. Rukaiya, bad. Heavy fines, okay. Other than fines, if there is no fines, then it's good. If there are no fines, then it's good. Bad image, right? So we just studied that now there are customers who are conscious about environmental. A lot of people are now getting more and more conscious. A lot of customers are now getting more focused on environmental friendly products and environmental friendly companies. And if our carbon emission is increasing, then that will adversely affect our image and reputation, and we may lose customers who are more concerned about environmental protection. Don't talk about hefty taxes and fine as the first point. We don't know whether there are hefty taxes or fine in this country. Ali Abbas, please don't talk like this. Will lead to higher cost of. Don't bullshit the directors. You think they will understand this? Why cannot you guys keep it simple? If there is carbon emission is increasing, please listen to me. If carbon emission is increasing, it may create a adverse image of our company, as more and more customers are becoming more environmentally conscious, and we may lose customers who wants to buy environmental friendly products. Simple. Fine, hefty fine, this, that. That is right, but that is a secondary thing. We don't know whether in this country there is fines or not, but definitely it will affect the image, right? The first thing is the image, losing customers. Fines and all these things are, you're thinking like an accountant, right? Like costs. Understand, guys? It's just how you draft. All of you know it. You know the answers, but it is how you draft. If you draft like an accountant, you will fail in SPM. Like Abbas was saying, it will increase the cost of capital. Fail. Draft like a strategic business leader. Is this how you will talk in the board? Those are non-finance people. This exhibit is 1:1. All right, guys. So now you understand how we evaluate 6 capital, financial capital, natural capital, blah, 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 blah. You understand what it means? So we did 2 things. In this question, I showed you 2 things. I showed you how to do a ratio analysis. And then what are the meaning of manufacturing capital, intellectual capital, this and that. Now, a very important point someone picked up. What about evaluation skill? You guys tell me. So all these points are negative, right? Do we have any positive point? I think this one, only this sentence is positive. Yeah. That's it. So, we don't have any good positive news in the exhibit. We don't have any positive news. There's only one thing which is good. I'll show you. Number of employees is falling down. Okay. So if we calculate productivity, revenue per employee, efficiency ratio, like if we divide revenue by number of employees, so it will give you some revenue per employee or efficiency, production efficiency per employee. That will improve, I guess. So that can be another positive point. But in an exam situation, you might not be. So just, I think the only thing is sales is increasing. You might want to elaborate a little bit more on that, just to get examiner's attention. I just gave another paragraph. So a positive sentence and then a negative. That's about it. As I said, it all depends on the availability of information. So unfortunately, if you look, all the ratios are going down. Is there any ratio which is improving? Anything else which is improving? Everything is deteriorating. So you see, so only sales was a little bit better, but what about this carbon? Yeah, everything is deteriorating. So there is not a lot of things. Under which headings should we mention revenue per employee, Janka? Where do we talk about employee? Which capital talks about employee? Human capital. Simple. You can have 2 paragraphs under human capital. Here you can first you can talk about the positive thing. And then in the next paragraph, we can talk about the negative thing, which is high turnover and low satisfaction. Okay, you can have 2 paragraphs. R&D was constant for past 4 years. Okay. No, 6553 is not constant. Anyways, we are done. It all depends on the availability of information. Maybe if you read some other exhibit, you might find some positive things. But as far as I'm concerned, we have done it nicely. Any question, guys? Do you understand how to deal with it? Yes, Ali Abbas, maybe. All right, guys. Now I want to do no harsh. If the requirement says analyze the performance, how would this have been different if analysis was tested? No, Geoda, it will not have been different. It would have been the same because in analysis, you have to find the root cause. So because we were supposed to identify the ratios, the performance, so root cause is by default there. Fatima, what are you saying? No need for pros in analysis? No, of course not. I mean, in analysis, whatever is the data you analysis, you have to give the reasons. Okay, please don't mix analysis and evaluation. They're two completely different things. Yusuf, you are absolutely correct. In analysis skills, you're supposed to give reasons. Wait, I'll show you. This paragraph is where you need to focus on what to do on evaluation skill. Okay. Sorry, this paragraph you have to follow for professional skills. So even if here it says analyze the financial performance, for example, okay, it says analyze any financial performance, you do the analysis, you identify the root cause, but for professional skills, this paragraph is the one which you have to follow. In this one, you have to show evaluation skill and hence pros and cons. Is this clear now? Don't mix these two. Here you can do whatever you want, but for professional skills, you have to follow this one, evaluation. Yusuf, are you clear now? Sir, A1, should we use the same evaluation? Of course, in A1 also, you need to show evaluation skill, the pros and cons. Yusuf, are you clear now? Yeah, that's fine. You can use analysis skills, but you can use multiple skills in one thing, but that's not a problem. We also gave a nice format and all those things. So that's communication. You can use multiple skills, but the one which you need to make sure you have to focus is evaluation. Focus on evaluation. The rest, everything is acceptable. But if you don't do evaluation, you will miss professional marks. Very good. It's as simple as that. Good. Everybody clear? You can apply multiple skills, but focus should be on this last paragraph. Otherwise, you will not get marks for professional. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So now I will do another question. So, all right. So just a small advertisement in between that those of you who are not aware, I'm starting my revision practice classes from 10th of August. Okay, so those of you who are already in any of my paid batches, regular batch or reset batch, it's already included in your package. But those of you who are self-study students, or so if you want to enroll in my revision classes, please save this number. This is my coordinator's number. And the revision class, basically, we will be doing solving 5 case studies, 3 mock exams. I will check 1 mock script. We will have a grand revision before the paper. So please, if you have if you're doing self-study, I would strongly recommend that you join this paid session so that we can do proper practice, proper drafting, like the same manner we are doing in this question. Okay. So this is the schedule for the revision classes starting from 10th of August. All right. The next topic is environmental footprint. It's a very easy question. I actually want to do this question because we are running short of time. So do you remember I used to say that certain questions are common sense question in HPL. Yesterday I was mentioning that sometimes you just need to use some smart, logical common sense. So I wanted to, let's see whether we can, attempt this question. I feel that this question was a logical common sense question. So basically, it's a question in which you have to advise on the two investment options. Okay. So supposing there are two options available, A and B. Would you be able to compare and contrast the two? Tell me. So if the company has two options, don't talk about models. Shit. SFA framework, you are gone. You are gone. So when the company has two options and they can only go for one option, and if the board asks you to analyze both options and suggest, you will be able to do it, right? You will look at the pros and the cons, the good things, the bad things about both the options. You will look at financials. Ying, gone, you are gone. The moment you start using models, God, my God, just look at the pros and, okay, this girl and this girl. I have an option to marry one girl. So it's this girl or versus this girl. Tell me which one. Who's better? Beautiful one? Beautiful from where? Outside or inside? The dark color or the fair color? The tall one or the short one? You see? Rich or poor? Good family, bad family? Educated, non-educated? One who loves me, one who I love. So you will look at the pros and cons, right, of both options. Are you applying any model? Can we apply decision tree or SFA? Crazy, man. Same applies on a company. There are two options. You will just discuss pros and cons and financials. Pros, cons, and financials. All right. So let's open SBL paper March, June 2022, Yex Money. We will do question number 3. It is available on your CBE platform. Please open past exam March, June 2022 on your CBE platform. Yeah, EX money. Done. Are you ready? Have you opened up the CBE platform? March, June 2022. Yex Marine. Ready? Okay. Few more seconds for others to figure out. Okay. So let's open question number 3. Yax Marine's board is considering 2 investment projects. A new range of sailing dinghies versus a new range of luxury yachts, which have been summarized by the finance director. Yax Marine will use the excess funds from the sale of its site to finance any investment it makes. Okay. However, it will not have sufficient resources to choose both options. The chief executive believes that a successful, significant investment could have a large impact on the success of Yax Marine over the next few years and is seeking your view on whether either of the proposed investments should be chosen. Okay, so it looks like they have 2 investment options. They have some money, but it's not enough to fund both the options. So the CEO wants you to analyze both the options and suggest which one is the most better option out of the 2. Prepare a report to the board which advises on the financial and non-financial benefits and drawbacks of each of the investment projects and recommend with reason which, if any, should be chosen. So we have to advise on the financial and non-financial pros and cons, benefits, and then in the end we have to recommend which option is better in your view with justifications. 24 marks. Professional skills marks are available for demonstrating evaluation skill by making justified recommendations which are based on a balanced assessment of both projects. Simple. That you have to give a balanced assessment of both projects and with the recommendation. Balanced assessment means covering both pros, cons, and financials. Clear? 4 marks. So total marks is 28 marks. Now, can you look at the list of tasks and tell me which question has the highest mark in this entire paper? In this attempt, which question has the highest mark? Question number 3. And I feel that it is straightforward, common sense. You just look at the pros and cons and financials. All right, so let's attempt it. First of all, I want you to read an overview. Please read the overview so that you understand the scenario. It's a bit lengthy. I mean, okay. Please read from here till here. Time starts now. Only from here till here. Once you are done, please type done. No table here. Please read first. We will discuss all this after you've read. Read the first 3 paragraphs. So it's a yacht manufacturing company. It is based in Newland, and it has it sells yachts, plus it also carries out maintenance and repair works on the yachts, and it has 2 main competitors in Newland. It's called Genrom and Kellery. Okay. Forget about the ownership and governance right now. Can you please read from here, this one? Time starts now. Very good. 10 more seconds. Okay, so can anybody tell me, did you understand where they are getting 10 million from? So they are selling some property, blah, blah, blah. So they are leaving a surplus of 10 million, which can be used for product investment. Got it? So how much money they have? They have a surplus of 10 million, which they can use for innovation and product investments, future investment. Over the next 5 years, he wished gross profit margin to increase from this to this. Do you understand this sentence? That Tony is the CEO. So the CEO wants that Yax Marine's GP margin should increase from 40 to 45%. And operating profit should increase to 20% over next 5 years. You understand this? Okay. And I think what else was important? This one. So from background, we know that is a yacht manufacturing company. And there are 2 main competitors in Newland. And we are, merging some property, selling some property, buying a new property, blah, 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 which will leave us a surplus of 10 million, which we want to invest so that we can grow in future, and some future growth expectations or targets have been mentioned. What is your role? We are Tranart consultants. Okay, we are Tranart consultants. So are we internal or are we external? Okay, so our tone will be external, right? Okay, let's close the overview. Now we understand the background. Yax Marine and its competitor. Very interesting exhibit. Okay, wait. Let's see this one, 5. overview of investment project. This is the actual working which you need to evaluate. Can anybody tell me who has prepared this working? Do you remember? The finance director. Yes, the finance director has made this summary for us. Let's look at this. Both investments have been appraised by the finance director on the basis of a 10-year time horizon. The margins are the overall results of 10 years. Okay, whatever the time. So finance director has done all the NPV, payback calculations, projections on a 10-year horizon. And he has made this summary and is given to us. We are external consultants. So what are the two options? One is to go for sailing dinghies. And the other one is to go for premium priced luxury yachts. So let's look at the product description. Please read the product description from here, these two. Got it? Very two different options are there. Huh? One is we start making dinghies. Other one is we go for premium priced luxury yachts. Okay. Market. Market means our target customer, target audience, whom we gonna sell this product. Okay. So market. Who's the market or audience for this product? Please read these two. Interesting. Yes, Aram, good point, but don't share your points at the moment. So market is a very different market. So this product is being sold to families. And market is only in the home country, new land. And this one is for wealthy customers, wealthy people. And it's got a global market. So we will sell it around the world. Interesting. Very different dynamics. Competition. So for product A, a number of manufacturers in new land, all smaller than ex-marines. Okay, that's good. There are already many companies who are manufacturing dinghies in new land, but all of them are very small than us. So we might have some size advantage. That's good. What about competition in the other product? Foreign manufacturers, including some which are larger than ex-marine. Oh, so in this product, we will be facing competition from international manufacturers, some of which are even larger than us. Interesting. Price. So what is the selling price? So dinghies, we will be selling 4,000 compared with the average sector price of 5,000. Interesting. So we plan to sell it cheaper than the market, perhaps because we are large, we are enjoying economies of scale. I don't know why. Yachts are priced individually, selling for at least 400,000 each. Interesting. A hell of a difference between the two products. GP margin. In this product, the GP margin is 35%. And this one, whoa, GP margin is 62%. Operating profit margin is 12%. And here, oh, 28%. Payback 3.5 years. And payback for this one is 6 years. Net present value 5.5 million. I think who calculated this? The finance director. The net present value of here is 7 million. Initial investment required is 4 million. And 10 million. When the first revenue is likely to be received, 1.5 years and 3 years. So interesting. So these are the two investment options and they have to go for. So you have to analyze both options, pros and cons, and then give any recommendation. There is one more exhibit which I think we must read, but it's okay. I mean, we can skip it for now, but once we do it properly, it might affect competition clause here. All right, so guys, let's pick up item one by one. Product. So this product is dinghies, simple products, fewer controls, less technology. This one is luxury yacht built on individual basis, reflecting owner's tastes. What do you think, guys? This one is okay? Okay. Or this one is okay? Any pros and cons? So let's talk about sailing dinghies. What's the good thing about it? What's the good thing about it? The sailing dinghies. Expertise, Rukaiya, we don't have expertise. Pros? You crazy? Yeah, it's simple. It's not a complicated product. Easy to make. Simple. However, any cons? Any cons? What's wrong with dinghies? No. Do we have any experience? Do we have any experience, guys? Dinghies? Only in one country? No. We'll go one by one here. Guys, come on. I'm just talking about this portion. Product. So for product, as a product, it looks like a simple product, which is good, easy to manufacture. However, have we manufactured dinghies before? I don't think so. So we don't have any direct experience, but I don't think it's a big problem because it's a simple product. Is that okay? Can you draft simply like this? Whereas this one, what's the good thing? What's the good thing? What do you think about this? Should we go for this one? Premium luxury yachts? Tell me a good thing and a bad thing. Yes, very good. Prior experience. So we have a lot of experience in manufacturing yachts. But I can sense one negative point here. There's something customized. Very good. That's a con, right? Customization. Yes. But it says that it is customized on individual's basis, owner's taste. We don't have experience of that. If you remember the overview, it was mentioned here that is we make yachts are made in standard molds with limited additional options, features for customers. So we don't have any experience of, uh, making customized boards. We just have standard boards with very limited options for customization. So here, number one, yes, we do have experience of making yachts, but we do not have experience of making customized yachts reflecting owner's taste. What do you think? No, customized for pro? No, Dipti. How is it? Explain to me, Dipti. How is customize a pro? How is it an advantage? I mean, it can be an advantage from a revenue point of view, but from an experience point of view, yes, niche market is good. We'll talk about that in revenues, right? In financials, but do we have the experience? Don't you think experience is also important? So yes, that is a pro, that it's a niche market and it's a high-end market, and we do have experience. However, our experience is limited to standard yachts, and we do not have experience of customized yachts. Is that okay? All right, got it. Now, any thoughts on these one? So I think market point of view, I can just say that this product has a potential in new land only, whereas this product, these are price sensitive people who are looking for. So this product the customers are price sensitive because they are looking for cheap products, and the sales are only in new land. So it's a restricted geographical space. Whereas this product, it's a niche product, it's a high-end product. And the positive thing is it's a global market. So we can become international, right? More customers. That's it. But yes, you are right. You are saying that we do not have any experience in global market. Very good. Good point. So how do we draft it? Let me show you. But I think there could be many ways to draft it, but I can say product, then market. What else is there? Competition, price. So where is it? So product, market. So we will just have two paragraphs in product. We will say the dinghies are simple to manufacture. It does not require any technical complications. However, you do not have any experience of dinghy manufacturing. However, you need to consider the fact that you do not have any experience of dinghy manufacturing. Is that okay? The dinghies are simple to manufacture. It does not require any technical expertise. What about the luxury? Niche products. Yes, Marine has expertise in manufacturing yachts. However, let me copy from here. However, the experience yachts are made in standard molds with blah, 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 blah. You will have to see how you can customize the luxury yachts according owners likes or whatever was there. Okay, do you understand? Under product, I gave some comments on the first option, and I then gave a comment on the second option. That's the approach. Tabular form, why tabular form, Baba? Shaza? Wait, Fatima, wait. First of all, Fatima, why you are dividing by 4? This question is not divide by 4. No, no. The questions which are supposed to be divided by 4 are weaknesses. So first you identify the weaknesses and then give recommendation. Weakness recommendation, weakness recommendation, weakness recommendation, weakness recommendation. Right? This is a different question. You have to identify the pros and cons, pros and cons, pros and cons, pros and cons, and in the end, you will give recommendation whether this product or this product. You got it? Good. Tabular form, yes, you can. If you want, you can have product 1 dinghies here and here, or you can do a up to you. I'm flexible. Right. For market, what did we agree on the market? So this market is for families, cheap, only new land, and this one is for wealthy customers, global market. I think that's in favor. So for what we will say that the dinghy target customers are families who are price sensitive as they are looking for cheap products. Also, the dinghy market is restricted to new land only. The luxury yacht target customers are wealthy people who are quality sensitive. Also, it will open up global market for X money. X Marine does not have any Is that okay? Some pros, some cons, some just logical thinking. Can you guys read it? Is it okay to you? Yes, Muna, I might see, I'm just going by the template. And because in this template, everything is mixed, right? Financial, non-financial, everything is mixed. So I'm just going heading by heading. So this is 1 point. This is 2 point, 3 point, 3 paragraph, 4 paragraph. So we have done 4 points. Do you understand the drafting? Again, it's a very common sense question. Which chapter? Have you read anything about dinghies and yachts in any chapter? You see, so it's just common sense reading from the. So it's not 10 marks. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 8, worth 8 marks. Now you might get 1 mark each. Okay. 1.5 marks per point. Okay, now let's talk about competition. Competition, it says a number of manufacturers in new land, all smaller than Yexmari, some long established. Okay, that's good. That in dinghy, although there are all a number of competitors in new land, but they're all much smaller than us. What about this one? Foreign manufacturing, including some which this one is bad. This is more negative than positive. Do you agree? This one is more negative than positive. That there are foreign manufacturers, including some which are larger than Yexmari. So in terms of competition, which one is better? In terms of competition, dinghy is better or yachts is better? In terms of competition, I think dinghy is better, yeah, because there are small competitors and all local. Here there are international competitors. Some of them are bigger than us. In terms of market, which one is better, you think? Which one has a better potential in terms of market? Yachts, right? It's a global market, wealthy customers. So we are not high margins. We're not pressed with dealing with price sensitive poor people, and it's global, I think. Yeah. Okay, price. So it's a low price, and the good thing is that we are able to sell cheaper than the market. And yachts are priced individually, selling at least. Whoa. So which one? I think price wise, I'm okay. This one, the good thing about dinghy is it is a low price, so high moving, more turnover, less price, more turnover, and we are able to sell cheaper in the market. And luxury yachts, I think there's crazy price. So I don't think there will be volumes. It will be less turnover, like less volumes, but high revenues, high margins. So, okay, gross profit, very interesting. Come here, gross profit. This one is 35%, this one is 62%. Hell of a difference. Which one would you go for? Do you remember any benchmark target was given in the first exhibit? What was the target for the first exhibit? They want to increase the gross profit margin to 45. Currently it is 40. They want to increase it to 45. So which one you think will increase our overall gross profit? This one? I think this one will reduce our average gross profit. And this one will actually increase our average gross profit. Do you understand? Yes. So if you go for this product, dinghy, our current gross profit margin will reduce because our current gross profit margin is 40%. And if we add a product which has a lower gross profit margin, so average will go down. But here, if we add yachts, it will actually improve our overall gross profit margin. So it will help us achieve our target for the next 5 years. Similarly, for operating profit, our target is 25%. If you read this, yeah, 20%. So this one is much lower than our target, but this one is much higher. So I think in terms of profitability, which one is better? Yachts, because it will definitely more profit and it will help us help the CEO achieve the new targets of the next 5 years. Very good. What about payback? Whose payback is better? Whose payback is better? Dinghies. Why? Why? Because it's shorter. Yes, good. So you will be shorter payback, earlier the better, right? So we will be able to recover our initial investment much faster. So in terms of payback, I would prefer dinghy. Very interesting. Net present value. Tell me, guys. In terms of NPV, which one is better? Definitely 7 million, yeah. Very nice. So in terms of NPV, definitely yachts is better. Initial investment required, including marketing cost, 4 million and 10 million. Now this one is tricky. Wait, everybody stop. This one is tricky. Initial investment required is 4 million. Where is it? Wait. 4 million and 10 million. Which one is better? Think from an overall perspective. Be sensible. Dinghy is better? Why dinghy is better? Or why luxury is better? Very good, Fatima. No, Fatima, no. Okay, I get your point. Okay, so I've seen all your answers. Interesting arguments. Very good. I mean, both has its pros and cons, right? So 4 million is better in the sense that it is lower amount involved. How much capital we have? How much surplus we have? 10 million. So it's good in the sense that if we just spend 4 million, then we are left with 6 million, which we can use for some other projects. However, the same argument can be done in reverse, that we have 10 million, we are just using 4 million. What we will do with 6 million? You know, we don't have any options right now. So that 6 million will sit idle, right? Up to you, whatever argument it fits. Because right now these guys have these two options, this or this. So if we just use 4 million, then that 6 million will just sit idle. And for a CFO's fund, sitting idle with no return is not good. Whereas in this option, it will fully utilize what we have. Okay, but the other argument is that, you know, we will not be having a lot of surplus after this. However, please listen. Is it the investment amount is important or the NPV amount is more important? Ultimately, the decision making is done based on NPV, right? Wrong? NPV, right? Best. NPV is the main core decision making factor. So which one is better NPV? This one. So I would suggest, I would prefer this 10 million, because this 10 million is giving me a profit of 7 million. Whereas this 4 million is giving me a profit of 5.5 million, which is lower than 7. Got it, guys? Yeah, NPV is discounted, so everything has been considered. You have to assume that the finance director is considered discount rates and all those things. So Geoda, yes, you're right, but I mean, you can say that the case has not provided me of any other options. So do we know whether we will be able to use the extra amount somewhere? Or you are assuming that we will use it somewhere? Somewhere where? You see, it looks to me that there are only two options. If I'm left with some money, it will sit ideal. So you see, we should not assume stuff. We will just say that, that money, if we can use it somewhere, then good. Otherwise, it will be useless. So ultimately, as a CFO, I always look at net present value. For me, this is the key deciding thing, net present value. Okay. And in this case, the NPV is higher so I will have to invest 10 million. I mean, all the arguments are correct. This is the beauty. As long as you are logically correct, as a consultant, what is your role? Your role is a consultant. As a consultant, you need to just educate the board about the pros and the cons, and then let them decide. Okay. When is the first revenue likely to be received? Which one is better? Come on, Zahur. How would you know NPV is discounted? This is a very bad question. NPV means it's discounted. Net present value. Come on. My God. I think the first revenue is dinghies is better, because the earlier the revenue starts coming in, the better, right? From cash flow. Yes, you're not supposed to take assumptions, correct? All right. So what we did was we just analyzed the pros and cons wherever we can, financials and non-financials. Okay. Now, ultimate, what do you recommend? Dinghies or yachts? And you can be right either ways. Okay. I mean, okay, wait. Please stop. Those of you who are in favor of yachts, please give me a reason. NPV, higher NPV. It is meeting the gross profit target. Very good. Very good. So I think these are two main reasons why I will go for yacht. That A, it has got higher NPV and it will help meet the gross profit, the profitability targets. However, would you like to caution the board? Would you like to caution the board about any big drawback of yachts? But although you are suggesting yacht because of NPV, because of higher profitability, but would you like to caution the board about something? I think yes, customized experience we don't have. What about international competition? Forget about payback, yeah. Don't talk like accountants. What about international competition? Do we have international experience? Good. So this is a good way of recommending that although I would recommend yachts because its NPV is higher, It will help us achieve the profitability targets. However, I would like to just caution the board that you will have to acquire some expertise regarding customization, and you will be facing tough international competition from larger manufacturers. Khalas. It's nice to give conclusions. In a conclusion, if you can, give one pro and cons as well, so that you can caution the board in summary. Okay, what about dinghies? Those of you who are in support of dinghies, who recommend dinghies, what is your logic? Now, yachts people, you keep quiet. Dinghies. Those of you who are in favor of dinghies, please give me a logic. Okay. Less competition. Okay. Again, who is this person, Pritesh? Why you are stuck with payback? You take decisions based on payback, you accountant, get lost. Less risky. We've got market leadership. We've got market leadership in dinghy. Less competition. Yes, that makes sense. It's easy products. Makes sense. We are the largest. We, in sense, yes, makes sense. Very good. So if you are suggesting dinghies, you will say that it is a simple product and it has less competitors. We are the largest in size. We are enjoying some cost benefits. However, any bad points? A, we will not be able to achieve. It's got a lower NPV. That's the first thing. All decision making, the primary is NPV. It's got a lower NPV as compared to yours, and we will not be able to achieve our profitability targets. And maybe a lot of $6 million may be unutilized until you guys find some other option. Does it make sense, Gio? That 6 million will be unutilized until and unless you find some other option. Logical. I'm being neutral. I'm talking, giving the board all the options so that they can take a right decision. This is called evaluation skill, that you give a complete all-round analysis to the board, the pros, the cons, so that the board can take the right decision in light of your input. Yusuf, wrong. Proportion is meaningless. Ultimately, it is NPV which matters. Okay, percentage is meaningless. Fatima, it is your professional judgment. So whatever you recommend has to be backed up with logic, which you have discussed above. No, Laksh, it is your assumption. It is mentioned that we have 10 million available for investment. So how it will give you working capital problem? It is your mindset. Yes, Laksh? Unmute.
Yes, sir. So I was saying that using all the $10 million as the initial investment will lead to working capital problems.
No,
right?
that's your assumption, right? What makes you say
So, but
that?
it is given that we will receive our first revenue after 3 years.
It doesn't matter. It says we have spared 10 million and this project requires 10 million and khalas.
Okay. And sir,
Simple.
one more thing.
Keep it simple.
Okay. Sir, one more thing, like this question has a few financial parameters as well. So like you
Wait,
always
wait,
said,
wait, wait. What you can say is that, we have 10 million surplus, and in yachts project, the entire 10 million will be utilized. Hence, we will not have any funds left for any future investment options. Does it make more sense?
yes.
That we will be actually using the entire amount in yachts. So we may not be left with any surplus for any future possible options.
Okay.
Okay, what's your second point? You were talking about some financials.
But that was a general thing. Like you always suggest like giving one or two more points when it is about the finance. Like the question contains financial parameters. So shall we give in this one?
Like what? This is a different question. It is not a ratio analysis question. So you might not be able to write, if you can write one or two extra points, but you have to stick with the exhibit, right? So if you look at the exhibits, the finance director has only talked about these things. So you would have to just comment on these things. What extra can you write on this?
Not on this. Yeah, right.
You see? So you have to restrict to this exhibit. Otherwise, if you were giving the balance sheet and a P&L, then you can done two extra ratios. But here you don't have any balance sheet P&L. So whatever is given, you just have to, stick with that.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Now, how many points are we supposed to write?
Sir, it was a 28 mark question, if I correctly remember. Then 14 points.
28. 14 points. So don't you think we have come up with 14 points? 2 points here. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Right.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We've gone, and then recommendation separate. So I think you will easily, because let me show you. Because you see, these are considered as 2 points. Do you understand? These are 2 points. Market, one comment on dinghy, one comment on luxury. This is 2 points, not 1 point. So competition, one comment on dinghy, one comment on yacht, another 2 points. So there we will be able to write actually a lot of points.
So we are all eventually making more points already than
Yes, yes. In fact, I'm thinking of combining these two, gross profit and operating profit, as 1 point to save
Okay,
time.
sir. Yeah, got it, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Yusuf, this is enough for 2 marks. This is not a summarized answer, because you see, in your exam, when you are under time pressure, you will not be able to write more. So I just want to give you a realistic answer. This is what you will be able to manage under exam conditions. So this is enough. You will not get 2 marks for this. You will get 1 mark or 1.5 mark out of 2. Okay, this clear, Yusuf? What should be our final conclusion? Like, these are pros and cons of dinghies, or I suggest no, Shri. What are you saying? Final recommendation should be very simple. Are you in favor of dinghies or are you in favor of yachts? And why? Khalas. Non-financial benefits, Ali Abbas. We covered non-financial benefits, pros and cons, higher NPV, lower NPV, this and that. Those are non-financial benefits. Guys, my final recommendation as a CFO, if I was the CFO or consultant here, I would definitely go with yachts, because it has higher NPV, it is meeting our profitability target, it's growth, right? All companies, they want to grow their profits. With dinghies, my profit is not growing, it's actually coming down, because dinghies profit is less than my existing profits. So for growth, I would go for yachts if I have the money. Yes, there are risks. But as companies do take risks. So if we know our weaknesses, We will fix it and we will take the risk. Yes, Karthik?
Sir, can we write it separately, like option 1 and option 2? Option 1, we speak on pros and cons of the dinghies and their yachts.
Okay. Yes, you can. If you don't get confused, if you can manage that format, then yes, no problem. So what Karthik is saying is, can I do the pros and cons of dinghies in one go and then pros and cons of yachts in one go? Yes, you can. I preferred line by line rather than this, but both options are okay. And then the board will decide, yes. All right. Guys, so I am now closing this question. The whole purpose of doing this question was to demonstrate to you that how you need to think in the boardroom. You don't think like an accountant, because some people were stuck with payback. They were just putting payback, payback, payback. No, that's an accounting thing. Logical, these type of questions, which chapter? Which chapter can you say? Yachts and dinghies and just some basic business knowledge like competition, experience, NPVs, and that's it. These kind of questions is where smart students will pass and weak students or accountant mentality students will get stuck. So, and in every SBL paper, there is one question like this, worth 25 marks minimum. So please, what I want to request is open up your mind. Start thinking like a CFO, start feeling like a business leader. Think logically, it's not difficult, right? When you were discussing, you were all participating very nicely. When you knew what to talk, then you were talking sense. So please, you need to learn this thing, and this can only come through practice. So if you think doing this question opened up your mind, if you feel that doing this question gave you a lot of idea how to handle the paper, how to think, how to talk, how to draft, then please, if you are not enrolled in my revision classes, then you must enroll, because this is the way I will be dealing with all the case studies from 10th of August. Right. So can we like move on and just quickly wind up? Okay. Right. So I'm now in the last leg of my webinar and already the time is up. My God. Anyways, it doesn't matter. This is a list of important models. Okay. Please, you don't have time. So you just focus on these models, and where you can see, you can watch my December 2021 webinar, day number 5. I have covered most of these models on this webinar, day 5. Similarly, this is a summarized list of some important topics which you must be familiar. You can also watch December 2021 webinar, day number 5, for a quick revision for these topics. So now a recap. So, this is a recap of all the exam techniques, linking with exhibit, time management, number of points, formats. We just discussed all these today, right, in the first half. A recap of various formats. So you must be familiar with all these formats like reports, briefing paper, blah, blah, blah. This was all covered yesterday. You must be familiar with all the professional skills. There are the 5 professional skills. We covered them. We talked about it in detail in yesterday. Okay, you must be familiar with this. There are some small limitations of your CB software. So the CB software which you are using now in your practice is slightly different from the actual CB software used under the exam conditions. Okay. So there are some differences like the toolbar, it varies. So you can just go through it, very small differences, nothing to worry about. But I just thought I'll bring it to your attention so that you don't panic on the last day. And this is very important. Study plan till the exam, and this is for self-study students. Huh? This is for study students. Okay. My paid students, you don't have to worry about these things. So for self-study students, you have almost 3 weeks now. So you should start by December webinar day number 5 so that you can get a quick revision of some important topics. Then you can watch September webinar by myself. It will cover some additional topics. And then you can watch these 2 webinars in which I have solved full questions, full case studies I have solved. December I have done NEBI, and in March I have done TT for you. And then you can practice these 5 questions. And then you need to do these 3 questions as mocks. So all my paid students, I will be doing all these 5 plus 3, 8 questions in live classes. For self-study students, you need to do it on your own. And then, of course, on the last couple of days, you will need to revise. Please stay away from books and revision kits. Why? Because you only have 3 weeks. Now you understand that SBL is more about practice and less about theory. So please refer my ultra summarized notes, watch the webinars, and practice the questions I have mentioned. This is all you can do in 3 weeks. Okay. And the last message is, you remember this message from yesterday? You have to start feeling and imagining like a CFO sitting in the boardroom and you're talking to the board of directors. Unless and until you adopt this mindset, you will struggle in passing SBL, because then you will talk like a stupid accountant. This paper is not for stupid accountants. This paper is strategic business leader, not a stupid accountant. So you have to feel like a CFO in order to write and think like a CFO. Okay, that's my ultimate message. Those of you who want to enroll in my revision classes, please message this number. Admission is open now. So tomorrow, oh my God. So there are 3 Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 3 days there's holiday in Pakistan. So I don't know whether this guy will be able to respond or not, but I will work out something. So please, these are my contact details for this is admissions. This is for the global WhatsApp group, and this is my number. So I will now take few questions, if any. If there's anything I have missed out. Yes, Honor, you can. You can use the name of the company. You can use you can do a mix of both. Can we see timetable of coming revision? Okay. All right. I will show you the timetable right after this. And in the last 2 days, if I have been a little rough, if I have been a little rude to any of you individually, please, I apologize. The intent was never wrong. It was just that I feel that you guys are all my students and you have to pass. So please don't take it in the wrong sense. I wish all of you pass with flying colors. And with that, guys, I really thank you. The recording of this will be available probably tomorrow evening. And the handout of this I will circulate tomorrow in the WhatsApp group. Okay. So with that, guys, I'm signing off. Thank you so much. Take care. All the best. See you soon in my revision class on Wednesday. Thank you very much. Good night.